recording as well. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, but I can see it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay. Oh wait, my system is hanging. Let me just check if anyone else is. Oh, there are 4 more people waiting to be joined. So let me just check with them as well. So
If you can set them to auto join, it should be fine. It's not a big deal.
yeah, let me see. How can I do that? I'm also new to all these things. I couldn't find that option. Sorry, Dr. Raj.
No, it's okay. It's okay then. Yeah, just admit people as they come.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and everyone else who joins, just mute yourself unless you need to ask a question.
So I hope you can see my screen properly. No issues, right? Like, or is the Zoom icon blocking you or something? Oh, no worries. Okay, thank you, Raj. So yeah, today I'll be talking about Vistaar paper, which is diverse benchmarks and training sets for Indian languages. So thank you for inviting me to give the session, and thanks for conducting good initiatives like this. So a bit about myself. I'm Kurian Benoit. This is the photo which I go in the internet. I work as an ML engineer at Server. I recently joined few days back. I am a volunteer at Swathantra Malayalam Computing at least for a few years. Good friends with Santosh Tottingal and Kavya Manohar, and few other folks in that community. And yeah, I have spoken in a few international conferences, especially Force and Python has been some of my strong points. Spoken in Python India thrice. Also, yeah, like I maintain a open source package called Vistar Normalizer, which has about total 175,000 downloads, and I'm also a creator of Index Subtitling. So yeah, about Vistaar paper. So Vistar, basically the name itself comes from the Hindi name, like okay, Vistar meaning broad in Hindi. In my mother tongue Malayalam, it's called Vistaram or and it's the same thing itself. So it's not just one Hindi word itself. Like I think probably in a lot of common languages, I don't know, in Malayalam at least, it is having the same meaning. And they call this Vista because like they propose this as a collation of benchmarks across various Indian languages as well as various types of data. So that is why I say they call this Vistar, and whatever sentence which I have put here like is directly from the paper. And it comprises of about 12 languages, leading to about 59 word rate values. And if you are looking for, by the way, I know if anyone of you are not familiar with the term word rate, I know it's a jargon for some of the people. If you are not in speech world, word rate is something like in ML world, a metric basically, like accuracy, precision, recall. And how that word rate as a metric is basically being calculated is like, so in a speech to text model, the speech to text output will obviously, for a speech, obviously there is a ground truth or like the actual output which is to be expected, while a ASR model or a ML model predicts an output, which is called ASR text, and a ground truth. On comparing both of these things with a metric like word rate, I'm not getting into the detail of it, but comparing this ground truth as well as the ASR output, we get this metric like WER, CUR, CER, and all. And WER basically means word level and character. So it depends on word by word. If it is calculating, it is WER. CER, it is like character. I can go into the formulas and stuff like that, but I'm not getting into it. If anyone is very curious about it, just wanted to explain that. And order rate as a metric, just like accuracy, always higher is the better. In order rate, lower value is the better. So maybe when we are looking at some figures and stuff like that, it will be easier for us to understand that. Oh, 6 people entered the waiting group. So let me admit all of them as well. So sorry for the
Hey,
delay.
Korean, can you explain the part about where it says leading to 59 computed word array values like
Uh,
cardiac and
so that I don't have a idea, but like when we read the paper, I think we will get a better idea about that in general, because I have a rough sense of what it is, but okay, how they calculate the exact 59, maybe it is like saying like something just to they are doing for 59 something. My intuition here is like for 59 data sets in 59 domains, they create 59 different word error rates, and based on that they get the value. uh, but yeah, even
Okay.
I am also not exactly sure about that.
Yeah,
Also,
that so we can just like look into the research paper that you were sharing with us. So, go
yep,
ahead.
yep, 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 yep. So Piyush, maybe what I prefer is like maybe I can just complete the slides, and after that, like we can get into a discussion also, if that is fine, because I prefer to go in that flow first, if
Yeah,
that is
sure.
okay for
Yeah,
you.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, many thank you, Piyush. Yeah. So, right. Okay, so the abstract of the paper, as you can see, is basically okay. The research paper emphasizes the need for better automatic speech recognition system, so that like it's more like individuals can use large language models, so that like basically using ASR, and like so that like with LLMs it says that it's a crucial idea. And to study, okay, this is something I did, just by I tried to convert the abstract into third person also in when I did the site. So maybe LLM might have hallucinated. Sorry for that. But yeah, like in an effort to solve this issue, so they basically compile Vistar, a collection of 59 benchmarks. So and that 59 benchmarks in different languages, different language combinations across probably 59 data sets, and it amounts to about 10,700 hours of data. And to study that, and they basically introduce something called as Indic Whisper. Indic Whisper is like basically in this large data set, they have actually trained, basically they collected the benchmarking data set, then they collected the training data set, and then they basically trained on it. So let's get into the details. So when we get into the details, and also they even did something else, like to score they benchmark not just in Indic Whisper alone, like they had to benchmark with basically 3 open source datasets and 2 commercial ASR models they benchmarked. And in all these metrics, like 39 our models, Indic Whisper was the best performing model compared to any other model. And it's a community effort, and all the effort was like is accessible via GitHub link, and the code is available here as well. So if you're interested for the work of AI4Bharat Vistar, I will say go to this repository, give them a star for giving for the good work they have done, because I think this is the best work, at least in any speech recognition I have come across in Indian languages. And the dataset is available to download here, model is available to download here in this language. They have a proper readme as well. So good job for the people who maintain this. And uh, so yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that code repository. Maybe when you are following, you can maybe take a look at this, like if you find my, yeah. I'm facing some issues with my tech stack, sorry. And yeah, this work got selected for InterSpeech 2023 conference as well. So if you don't know what is InterSpeech 2023 conference, it is like one of the best speech conferences across the world. And in this conference, they got like selected. It was happening in Dublin, and I think the first paper authors or some of the people who worked in this went to the conference and attended it in person. So very impressive work. And if you are looking about the authors of the paper, so the first authors of the paper are Kaushal Santosh Bogle and Sai Sundarshan. So uh, Kaushal is a PhD scholar at IIT Madras, and Sai is like a BTech student at IIT Kharagpur, but he works in Server AI as well. So I know him. I actually know about that paper also from him, really. And Abhigyan is also a founding engineer who is like my colleague at Server. Tahi Javed is like a PhD scholar at IIT Madras. Then Mitesh M. Krapka, who is like a professor at IIT Madras, and Pratush Kumar, who is like a co-founder of at Serverwing, is like the authors of this paper. So about the paper, Vistar as a dataset diversity, if you look at it, it just look at this paper, like just look at what do you say at this figure for a moment, and it comprises of the types of sources. So there is Wikipedia data, there is news data, there is blogs, there is education stuff. Uh, so CV basically means common voice. We will get into the details of each of these data sets. Probably with that, we might get a better idea about how they derived that 59 language combinations, which Piyush was asking me. Weather, books, navigation, tourism, agriculture, poems, stories, science, textbooks, literature, health, and website. So these are the data set. In all these, maybe Intake TTS has a lot of diversity, while maybe something like NPTL we know as an education platform, and they just have education content videos. Shruti was like news. The one thing about this paper is like all these datasets existed previously. What they did is like they collated all these datasets together, and they identified training dataset and benchmarking dataset. So that's what I say basically. So basically, out of all this, they created a training dataset and benchmarking dataset. They identified certain datasets specifically for training, certain datasets specifically for validation, for benchmarking. And what you see here, right? So this figure, okay, now when I looked at the figure one basically covers Vista benchmarking dataset only. So all the datasets listed here is like a very good thing. And maybe what they are trying to say with this paper is like, rather than creating we need that data diversity in order to get a good ASR model performance. And what the paper is trying to say, as far as I understand, is like, with this figure is like, when we collate all these data sets, we have this much diversity. And with that, they created a good benchmarking data set based on which like we can train any good models. And this training data set, it is consisting of the following 7 data set. If you want to know the details of what are these 7 data sets, like it is mentioned here, like basically section 3, Vistar trains dataset. Shruti consists of read to speech dataset collected from covering 12 languages. That is, Shruti itself is a paper, as far as I understand. NPTL, IIC, Mille, IIT, MSR, Wakshant, all these are like different papers, probably, or at least they are sources which have been cited in the paper. So if you want to go into it, like you can go into it. Probably that itself is a loophole to explain. But yeah, like I haven't gone that much in detail into that work. And benchmarking dataset, we saw here also all the benchmarking datasets. They say they collected 7 itself for benchmarking. It consists of Katpat Hard. So Katpat and Katpat Hard are being collected by the wonderful Karya.in team, which was featured in Forbes recently, which were saying like they are doing a novel work and stuff like that. So career people collected that dataset. Then there is Fluence dataset, which is a common speech translation dataset from Google, if I understand correctly. Then there is Common Voice. Common Voice dataset is from Mozilla. Then there is Indic TTS, MUCS, Gramwani. I have worked maybe with Fluence and Common Voice. Other dataset I am also relatively new with. So maybe questions and all, even I am also new with it. And if you look at the diversity, maybe I think this is how like that 59 benchmarks over 12 Indian languages came. So if you look at the Vista benchmark set, okay, across Bangla, like the various languages, BN probably is Bangla, GU probably is Gujarati, ML is Malayalam, MR Marathi, all those things. You can see that, okay, Vista benchmark set consists of 59 benchmarks over 29 languages, and Vista train set consists of 10,700 plus hours of data, as we discussed in the abstract of the paper. And that too, across the split is properly being given here. So for example, like, okay, Google TTS dataset was like 5 hours, 8 hours. It was not. Malayalam only 6 hours. Certain datasets like Korea probably is not even there. So Urdu is not there. So that is how the dataset is comprised, and probably Shrutilippi is the biggest dataset. But Shrutilippi is like a noof dataset, as far as I understand. And that also it's like cited in the paper. I might have read the paper, but I don't exactly remember the paper. But I think it's also from the AI4Bharat team itself. And Indic Whisper, basically, you know what, I have written this thing, but what they said is like, in order to improve the ASR thing, like, okay, in Vistar trained dataset, they tried in different model architecture. They decided to settle with Whisper model, and they said why they settle with Whisper model is because in Hindi language they tried it, and in Hindi language they felt like Whisper is the best model and giving decreasing word error rate best across all the architectures. And what this data structure researchers did is like, it is not a multilingual model necessarily. What they did is like, in Indic Whisper, for each language they trained with Whisper medium. Why they chose medium is also a very good question. I think they haven't answered that in the paper. But yeah, like, obviously they might have went with what they could do, right? Because obviously, yeah, resource constraint will be there in the work. And based on that, like, they train the model. And that model weight, which is being trained by
There is a
Indic.
reason for this, by the way.
Yes, yes, right.
There is
Please.
a reason for using Whisper medium, is because if you look at the Whisper paper, you'll see that the Whisper large and the Whisper medium are not very qualitatively different in terms of the measured WER for a number of languages. So Whisper medium already kind of reaches the peak, let's say, and Whisper large is probably the language which can accommodate more future languages. But I've myself benchmarked Whisper medium and compared it to Whisper large. The gap is very less. Like there is a gap, but it's not that much. So when you're in a resource constraint scenario, Whisper medium is an ideal solution.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Raj. So yeah, and all these models are available here as well. So like this Bankayali, Gujarati, stuff like that is available as well. Uh, and yeah, they compared 5 ASR systems. Indic Wave is also made by AI4Bharat. Then NVIDIA Medium and NVIDIA Large. So NVIDIA Medium and NVIDIA Large are just available in Hindi, and Google and Azure are like, commercial systems. And okay, in Hindi, across all these models, you can see that in the various benchmark, Indic Whisper is performing across these splits. Like, okay, Indic Whisper has the highest average accuracy, 13.6, while NVIDIA models are in 18 and 19, while the commercial models are performing really bad compared to some of the other models as well. And then there is across multiple languages, the split is there. So Indic Whisper across multiple languages, Google STT, Azure STT, Indic Wave 2, and Indic Whisper, they tested it, and they didn't went with NVIDIA in this diagram because obviously NVIDIA is just available in Hindi, while all others are available in these language combinations, as they mentioned in the paper. And okay, yeah, so that's it. And if you look at the results here also, the same story repeats. Like Indic Whisper is performing better than Indic Wave 2, as well as some of the professional ASR models like Google STT, Achobe was not there. So maybe because of that, like they decided not to compute the average for certain languages. I think that is mentioned somewhere, like in the paper. I remember it is also being mentioned. So, and yeah, like the source code also. If you look at the source code, very honestly speaking, this source code is not much different, I will say, from the Hugging Face implementation of fine tuning. In fact, it is the same thing. I checked with Sai only. So he said like it's almost the same thing itself. They haven't done any modifications to the Whisper fine tuning code, which is available in the Transformers library examples. And in evaluation.py, one very good thing which they have done is like whisper normalization. This is a discovery which I had during my MTech thesis, thankfully due to Kavya Manohar who found it out. Like whisper normalizer is such a bad normalizer for any Indian languages, probably for most of the multilingual languages as well. Probably a better one will be Indic NLP library. We are still figuring out the normalization for Malayalam and how well this Indic NLP library's normalization is working. But Indic normalizer is something in my package which I said like, okay, I also had done one independent work for Malayalam ASR benchmarking, and first I was using Whisper normalizer, and it claimed like 10 word error rate, and we were like thinking like, hey, Whispers are so good already to be used in Malayalam. But we later realized with some of the fine-tuned models, like the actual performance when we are using Indic NLP normalizer, like which is being used here, was about word error rate of 50 or something like that. So yeah, that was one thing, and we had this transcribe.py function as well. So yeah, that's transcribe.py also nothing much different, I will say. It's like the same thing. Probably the only thing might from the Whisper examples, as far as I know, is like the Indic normalizer factory. Not, maybe Raj or someone can correct me. But yeah, like in my quick look, that is what I understood. So that's it. And so they believe like they can improve the indicator. Maybe if we have more data, these benchmarks, but like they feel like this Vistar as a bench. I feel like probably this paper's main contribution, Indic Whisper, maybe some better model might come in 2-3 years. But maybe that Vistar as a data set, as a good collection of data set, might last, is my feeling at the moment. And yeah, so and they said like, okay, they created Vistar training data set of 10,000 hours and Vistar benchmarking data set, which has like 59 data set combinations across various languages, which is basically this thing, right? Yeah, across just 59 benchmarks across 12 Indian languages. So across all these things, like across the data set, they could have computed individual word error rate for each language. And it's a very good work, and it's a very good short paper as well. And maybe finally I just want to say some story. So I was also doing the same stuff for Malayalam speech recognition language, and probably maybe AI4Bharat didn't publicize their work. So probably this Vista paper, even though it got selected for interspeech, it never came to our radar. And yeah, like only recently I came to know about this paper. So once my thesis is over, I came to know of this paper. Otherwise, I could have cited this paper much more and even did some learnings, or maybe even benchmark some of our models in Vistar as well, or compared the Indic Vistar models as well. That is also something which is in my plan to see how well it really performs in Malayalam. So with that, thank you, and I'm open for questions.
Hi, Korean. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Sandeep, go ahead.
Oh, hi, I'm Sandeep. I work in IIT Madras Research Park, and also I'm a part-time student in IIT Madras. So my question is, you earlier mentioned that Whisper's normalization is not working well for Indic languages, while the Indic normalizer works quite well. What is the reason for that when you did your work?
Sure. Let me check if I can give you something to show. Uh, I'm just trying to take my thesis and list you a problem of uh, so this is basically like the basic text normalizer, what it uh, does. So it looks very meaningful. Like, okay, removes any phrases between matching brackets, remove any phrases between matching parentheses, then replaces. The third point is the only problem, and I will tell you what the third point does. Uh, this is what Kavya she shared, that like this normalizer is not good enough. Why is it not good enough? So this is like a Malayalam text. Sandeep, do you know Malayalam?
I understand Malayalam.
Okay, great. Okay, that's a great fit. Like, okay, most of the people don't know. If you see here, right, Rama Kshetram, I is missing. Like that Chandrakala is gone. She, that thing is gone. Obviously, that will totally distort the meaning of the word, right? We can't compute word rate if we are going with a normalizer like this way.
Okay, okay, got it. In Ramakshetram, what is gone?
Rama is coming instead of Rama. Ama, A
Oh,
is
okay.
missing.
A is missing. Okay, okay.
Kshetram, that Ka is coming, because Kshetram is like Ka plus Ka. Like, I'm not so good in Kavya is a linguist, by the way, but like I am not that much into it. But this thing like totally distorts the meaning of the word. And if you are computing based on this word rate, this is not a problem, by the way, in Malayalam. Like this happens in French also with basic text normalizer. And obviously in other Indian languages, I feel this thing will obviously exist. And everyone uses the Hugging Faces Whisper implementation, like to fine tune Whisper models, and they uses basic text normalize everywhere. So because of that, like everyone makes that mistake. But Indic NLP library uh, is a good choice, I will say, because so basically this is the thing. So I was trying to explain in the paper, like Unicode category of mark is totally being removed by that normalizer. Because of that, like whatever character of that particular Unicode category mark is there, it is being removed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, got it, got it. Okay.
And in Malayalam itself, there is a lot of Unicode characters with that marking. So, and for now, the I won't say Indic NLP library is like a full solution also, because Kavya is a linguist, and I think she is like um the best person to answer that. But like if I remember correctly, okay, yeah, there is this ML norm.tsp which she has created. Like in my library, she has like created this test, and even with Indic NLP library, which we have, out of 8 test cases, 2 test cases are now failing. So we need better normalization. If someone can work on it, it will be great.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice, nice, great.
Yeah, so that's something in our agenda as well. But yeah, like we all are busy as well, so we have to find it out.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep, for your wonderful question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? I think there was one more person as well to present after me, right? So if that person is there, like I think I already took a lot of time. Any more questions? Otherwise, yeah, I can wind
Uh,
up myself. Yes.
Sorry, just one question, just in general, since no one is others asking, not from this particular paper, since you're working in with Malayalam and Indic languages, and this Whisper is like this particular paper implements Whisper, right? So, what's your take? Like, which particular architecture to go forward? As in, like many of us might be willing to start work into Indic, right? So, what's your initial take from your experience to start with, like, which one is the most optimum architecture that can just process the uh, like whether it's a DNN or like any other kind of transducers models, or what's your take?
So,
Which, which
Dipesh, what is your language which you like to work?
suppose
Mother
it's
tongue.
a it's a so I'm my mother tongue is Hindi,
Mhm.
but like I'm talking about like any Indian language. We are building an Indic ASR, suppose. So which particular architecture will be optimum to work on?
It's a tough question to answer, but I think this paper kind of proved that Whisper is a good choice to work with. So, because with the good results they have proven, right? But yeah, like obviously when working, accuracy is sometimes not the only thing we care about, and because of that, the answering your question will be even more trickier. So yeah, like, but I think Whisper is a good starting point as proven by like, or at least a very good option as proven by this paper.
I can probably add to this. Training any ASR system from scratch is definitely a bad idea. We tried to do that on some paltry amount of data. It doesn't work. So Whisper, we tried to fine tune for a few languages. It works wonders. Probably Whisper Medium is the best model that you can go for. And maybe use LoRa in case you don't want to lose any of the pre-trained knowledge that already exists.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
I think that's all. Any last questions? Okay, then I can stop screen sharing.
Yeah, it seems that the second presenter is not here, or at least I pinged them on Discord and there's no response. So maybe we might not have a second paper unless anybody wants to just steal the spotlight and present something very randomly, a paper, of course, or anybody wants to talk about something, or we can also have a casual discussion for about 10 to 15 minutes about about research, about anything that any paper reading, anything is fine. I mean, we have a bit of time, so 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum. So one thing I also wanted to ask is this time good for people, or would it be better if these paper reading sessions happened a little bit earlier, or maybe on the weekends? Is there any kind of request or suggestion on this?
Actually, I I think I usually get free by 5 to at 5 p.m. because of my
Okay.
college days. That's why I think 6 to 7 is a great timing for me because after that I'm basically free for like few hours. So I
Okay.
think 6 to 7 is good, but and mostly the reason I don't think I can ask at some question because of my lack of expertise. I'm just a student right now at a tier 3 college, so I think these sessions are great for me to learn. So I think D Raj advice was good, great, where he just mentioned about how Whisper Media was so great, and Purian, your like presentation was really great. Like so, you basically taught how the Vistar worked, and also it was such a great session. To be honest, I would like to present a research paper next weekend, I guess. Not today, because I'm not actually prepared. I haven't prepared anything at all. I was just hoping to see some expert here and basically have a good chat with them. So this was a great session, to be honest. So I don't think so. I mean, is anyone else like want to present like a research paper that they have read or maybe find interesting and want to share with us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think there's. Yeah, Sachin, go on. You're saying something?
yeah. I joined a bit late, and I had a few questions. So one is I think it seems we are recording this session, right? So we going to share the recordings?
Yes, of course. Everything will. I put up on AI4Bharat's YouTube. So yeah, people can always watch those videos later. I'll be posting the link later as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And
So
I would be happy to contribute to the community, and maybe I'll reach out to you with the papers I want to present.
sure. I mean, we have this channel on Discord, right? So essentially, just if you have any paper you want to present, just present it over there. By the way, this doesn't necessarily have to be about research papers. It could be about some system demonstration, some toolkit, something that you found that, okay, you know what, I use this toolkit for some of my work. There is an interesting notebook you found that you think people might benefit from. We can have a demo session as well, where you can show everybody how that particular notebook is run. It could be a knowledge transfer session. Anything is fine. I would like more researchy stuff to be done, of course. I think that's what everyone is here for. But yeah, some demonstration. I think systems engineering is also research to a certain degree. So definitely let's go with those kind of sessions as well if people are interested.
Correct. Yeah, completely makes sense. I think like uh, opening up some options completely makes sense, because I think at the end of the day we are doing a bit of research and also engineering, right? So
Yes.
completely makes sense to do it. And I had one question regarding how do you guys let's say there is a new topic you are trying to uh, pick up, right? And then you want to find out all the literature which is present related to that topic. How do you guys go about it? Are there any softwares which you use?
I think
Okay.
Find is a great software for it, for like researching for some kind of research paper and basically finding out other stuff. And Google Scholar is also a good place to go about it.
Yeah, Piyush is right. Piyush is right. Google Scholar is one of the places, but I think I have a different flavor when it comes to getting into a new topic. For me, it's all about hands-on. When I do things hands-on, when I read a paper, I get maximum amount of knowledge rather than read someone's blog article. Because blog articles are like secondary information, I like to get more primary knowledge. So if I see that, okay, somebody's put out a paper and it seems to be an interesting topic, I usually look whether they've put out a open source repo or an open source model. And the first thing is always to go find that model, download it, run it locally, read the paper, try to make sense of both the implementation as well as the theory. And then that kind of deepens your understanding. And then, yeah, I mean, like when there is a fundamental piece of fundamental concept that you're not aware of, you just, Google search, figure out a paper or a book or anything. But the idea is that searching for stuff is also a skill, and that is something that you have to develop over time. Took me 10 years to develop whatever I'm using right now. So yeah, one step at a time. You have to be patient. That's all.
Got it. Yeah, I completely. Yeah, I think so. Some of the things, for example, finding out uh, referrals to the paper. Like, let's say,
Mhm.
I found one paper. Can I see what are the other papers which are referring to this paper, and all that also kind of works. If you are looking,
Absolutely. You go to Google Scholar, and Google Scholar, you search for the paper title. If it is there, you'll see a list of all the papers that cite that paper. And you can backtrack, you can get a tree. But I think there are these things, softwares called Mendeley. I think Mendeley allows you to do that, right? Mendeley automatically figures out all the references. If I'm not wrong, I haven't used Mendeley a lot, but I think Mendeley is a good software or tool to go through the chains of references and figure out what is an ancestor paper.
oh, nice. Okay, I will do a bit of research on Mendeley.
Yeah, I think I'm
Uh,
not 100% sure about it. Just take a look once.
Got it.
Actually, you mentioned running the code part. So how do you go about that? Actually, most of the time, those codes involve large language models. So I don't think so it's possible to like run it locally on your devices if you have just CPUs.
Right. Okay. So maybe when I said that, I think I was speaking from a resource-rich perspective. Don't have compute constraints, but I keep forgetting that the vast majority of the people do. This is the reason why I would recommend looking up collab notebooks. Collab notebooks are often written from the perspective of running something on a T4 instance or a V100 instance, 16 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes or something. Typically, notebooks are designed to work on low compute or on collab. So I would say look for those if possible.
Yeah, and also I want to add on to Google Scholar part. Like you can also use find for it, find.com or maybe something like Perplexity. They're a good way to find like resources for your research paper or for the topic that you are looking into.
Mhm. Piyush, could you do me one thing? Maybe in the Discord, could you, in the resources section, probably list these things so that people have a good idea in case somebody wants to know how to find something. The tips that you mentioned will be helpful to people.
Yeah, sure, I will share them.
Raj, one suggestion, maybe like
Yeah.
instead of having Fridays, right? Fridays is like work also last day. So before weekend, everyone is busy. Maybe weekends, probably in Indian context, I felt weekends are the best time for tech meetings because more people have bandwidth to join. So maybe
Yeah, I'm fine with
Saturday,
this.
yeah,
I'm
Saturdays
totally
or
fine with
Sundays,
weekend.
anytime. It's fine.
Probably not Sundays. Saturdays are a
Yeah,
bit more
Saturdays are
easier.
a
I
good
would say
time.
Saturdays are good.
Yeah, maybe Saturday is this 4 to 5 timing which you propose
Mhm.
probably works for a lot of people. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but we can take a
For
vote on this in the
wait,
channel.
wait, wait, wait. Korean for Saturday 4 to 5. I don't think so. It's possible for me because I have colleges on Saturday when my exams going on. So for that, I don't think so. It will possible for me to attend at 4 to 5. Maybe 5 to 6 or 6 to 7. Like not 4 to 5. It will be too early.
Mhm.
I won't be able to attend.
Yeah, but we can take a poll on this in the Discord, so that's totally fine. It's not an issue.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, cool. All right. If there's nothing else, we can close the session a little bit early, and next week hopefully we'll have people volunteering and then presenting something new and interesting.
I had one question.
Yes, Amrita.
Yeah, so I see that a lot of the paper and discussions on Discord are on either LLMs and language related models. Do you also is it okay to also present maybe work in computer vision? Because I see that
100%.
okay.
100%. So this is not restricted to language and speech. I would say that my expertise is in language and speech, but that doesn't mean that this is closed to other modalities.
Okay. Okay. Yes, because I'm kind of working on mostly on computer vision and mostly generative images and different modalities of models of that. So I was wondering if that's okay. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Please feel free.
Yeah,
By
thank
the
you.
way, actually, I'm currently working on a time series LLM model, like a research paper where we are like trying to predict like population of not right, like pollution in New Delhi by using like making a LLM based Llama LLM, like Llama LLM to predict the like quality of like using time series data. So, do you have any advice on how to go about that?
I haven't worked on this, so I don't think I can give very good pointers to this. Anyone else, if they have any suggestions, please feel free. But yeah, I myself don't have any good suggestions here.
Yeah, Piyush. So if you can come again. So you're working on time series data with LLMs, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and what is the what is the use case?
So we want to actually predict the pollution in New Delhi, like the quality
Okay,
data.
so that is why you are considering it to be a time series and trying doing it, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so like if you are like doing any kind of time series, like very first thing you should do before you do any state of the art should be like doing like traditional ARIMA and ARMA models. So that would a lot of times what happens is that I have seen like these models work better than LSTMs or any other sequence models from deep learning. So start with that, have a benchmark, and then just research on it. I hope that
Wait,
was.
can you repeat that? Actually, I wasn't able to listen to you.
Yeah, so you can look at like Sarima.
Sarima, can you write that in comments? Like,
Yeah, sure.
okay, Sarima. So should I use them as benchmark model? Like, I need to compare them with like predictions of an LLM that is like
Correct.
predicting the pollution.
Yeah. So if you want to do any sequence models, sequence-based deep learning models, then before that, try this first.
And to add to that, even before jumping to Llama and all, we can try LSTMs because for time series, even LSTMs are kind of good. But yeah, as he said, as Sachin said, yeah.
Yeah, eventually we do have plan of like using LSTM for it because it will be LLM will be able to remember the past data for it. Yeah, we have plans of using LSTM. We actually have a plan for like going about LLM for zero shot forecasting. It already has a paper, so but we have actually want to work on it for a new Delhi update. Like I can share the paper if you guys want.
Okay, then. If that's all, then let's close the session. Thanks, Yurin, for presenting. You made it nice and concise and got to the point directly. We'll have different styles of presentations. Some might get to the point directly. Some want to get deeper into the theory. Everything is welcome. Let's just hope that next week also we'll be able to meet and hopefully more people, more interaction, and let's see what happens. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and see you next week, hopefully. Thanks, Kurian.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Raj,
Thank you,
for your kind
everyone.
words.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.
Have a nice
Thank you,
day.
everyone.